expects, it requires the understanding that love itself is potent, love is effective, love isn't simply a response.
Mm-hmm.
It's also not just behavior. I do think love includes the affection, some emotional feeling sort of piece to it,
Mm-hmm.
even though it can't remain just as a feeling. It needs to be visible as well in other ways,
Mm-hmm.
whether that's words chosen or tone used or actual behavior that comes out,
Mm-hmm.
gifts or things like that. But that love is potent. So
Mm-hmm.
thinking even about God's love of us, his love overcomes our hostility and our rebellion to him and makes us humble, makes us lovers of him.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the example. So it's not just that we're making sacrifices, it's that sacrificial love, because of how God made the universe to work, it is actually effective to bring about good for that other person. So in terms of don't make it worse, don't get angry. In terms of generally speaking, what can you do that you can trust is going to help is actually love the person that you're talking to. So
Mm-hmm.
actually love your wife.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd say in a second positive thing is actually know what you're talking about. And that sounds really simple. I think of it as connected to the live with your wife in an understanding way, but at least in my own understanding, like know what it is you've been asking her to do, know what is her task list,
Mm-hmm.
know what are the things, that as a household she's responsible for in terms of being delegated, and know it's not just knowing what time of the month it is, it's also knowing what time of the day it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like uh my wife has some chronic physical problems. Some of them have names, some of them maybe don't have as acute of names. They're more obtuse, they're harder to pinpoint. But I definitely know that if she's been out all day doing particular things, like her fuel tank has been used up.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't just continue to expect her to drive when her tank is empty.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not just like in my love for her, though that can help fill up the tank. But even just in terms of her own physical energy, she only has
Mm-hmm.
so many energy dollars that she can spend. And I've actually got to know what her energy dollar bills are for the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got to have a good understanding of how many energy dollars she's starting with any given day.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the end of the day, continue to help triage in terms of, well, you're not going to be able to do this. We're going to have to throw this overboard.
Mm-hmm.
It would be nice to get that done, but that's not going to happen in terms of how much gas is in your tank.
Right.
So
Right.
I've actually got to know what I am talking about when I am responding to her concerns, or I am helping her decide on what to cut out and what to
Mm-hmm.
keep. So if she can't trust that I know, if every time I'm just like, well, just quit trying to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that sounds like my distancing myself and
Mm-hmm.
not participating. Well, that's actually not an answer to the question. That's just me running away from dealing with the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that I don't want to give her that sort of expectation. But
Right.
that means I have to be paying attention and I have to learn what is the things we're trying to accomplish. So I don't know if I've said this in the All Our Yours podcast, in a previous episode, but one of the hardest things in premarital counseling that I try to get guys to understand is that if their wife is in a car accident and she becomes a quadriplegic, whose responsibility is all of the things? Like it's
Mm-hmm.
amazing if your wife is healthy, she's happy, all that she can get done. Give thanks to God for that. But if she's in an accident and now you also have to take care of her
Mm-hmm.
and you've got to shop and you've got to cook the dinners and you've got to give the kids the baths and you've got to pay the bills and you've got to go to work so that you can make a paycheck to pay the bills. Like there's actually a lot that our wives are doing There's
Mhm.
a lot of stresses that they are going through on our behalf. They took our name.
Mhm.
If it wasn't for us, they wouldn't be trying to do most of the things that they're doing.
Mhm.
So we can be thankful for that. And we need to know what it is that we're talking about. Again, for her specifically, but even for whatever is happening in the household, so that we actually can lead well, as
Mhm.
opposed to just leading in a way that is trying to make no more problems. Well, that's not going to happen. That is unreasonable. And again, it's coming back to some very basic principles for what the guy can just make sure he doesn't mess up to start with, let alone trying to fix the particular thing, the symptom of that moment or that day.